and we're going to share my screen. Bum, 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 bum. Hello, everybody. This is Phil Shinnebear with an episode of, well, me. Um, I know how fascinating all this is. Where was I born? I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. But what you see on your screen is a map of Louisiana. My parents were, by the way, this is New Orleans. You can't see it, but the state of Louisiana is like a boot. My parents were both born in Plocherville, Louisiana, a small rural town where French was spoken. Both of my parents were forced to learn English, and apparently with a lot of physical duress, they made them do that. So they grew up in this very small town, and they got married. Knew each other. This is a picture. Okay, I'm going to show you here of my father. Can't make it any bigger. Okay, can't. That's my daddy right there. Look at that casual, debonair young man with a pipe in his mouth and it looks like a cap. Um, this was before he was married. This is a picture of my. Hang in there, folks. Um, there you go. This is my mother. I know you can't see her too well, but she's a sassy young lady. Both of my parents were quite intelligent. Um, you can see she had beautiful curls. She said she was very proud of her long, long hair. Said it reached all the way down past her butt. Anyway, but they got married, and during the Depression, go back to Plocherville. Now, in Plocherville, there wasn't much going on. As you know, the Depression, I think, ran from 1929 through 1939, approximately. Well, they got married. They had a daughter, and my father was looking for something to do. He learned barbering, and he learned it. He went to New Orleans, was studied, got his whatever license, but he couldn't make a living doing that. He learned how to make shoes, a shoemaker, a cobbler. Um, couldn't make a living doing that. So he and his younger brother went to New Orleans and got a job with Armco. Armco um, put up buildings all over the South. Oops, that's me. Oh, there you go. I wish I could make this bigger, but apparently not. Anyway, they put up these big buildings all over the South, and it was very hard work. And of course, they were away from their families. My daddy had three children by this time. He had a girl, Patricia, then 2 years later, Ursula, and then 2 years later, Martin, my brother. Da-da, 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 da-da. So he had to go to the big city, and they left Placerville and came down to New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, where was I born, you might say? Let's go up here. We're going to do a search. 1606 Camberone Street, New Orleans, Louisiana. Ain't Google amazing? You should be seeing this, I hope. This is a city of New Orleans. My mother moved down to, and my daddy, of course, but my mother just had the three children while he would travel around putting up these buildings. Tried to support a family during the Depression. We lived at 1606, well, they lived at 1606 Camberone Street. This is the city of New Orleans. I'll zoom out. This is New Orleans. This is Lake Pontchartrain. This is the Big Muddy Mississippi. Um, and of course, the French Quarter is here. But up here, there was a street called Carrollton Avenue, and it was generally called Uptown. So they had very affordable housing in shotgun housing. There it is. I can't make that any bigger. Once again, I am flummoxed. That's a good word. Anyway, you see this little house here? I was born in that house on the I would call it the right-hand side. Now they're called shotgun houses because, of course, um, They just run straight from front to the back. One room follows the other. I guess it's like a double barrel shotgun. It has two barrels that just go straight. Or some people say you can open the front door, shoot a shotgun, and it'll go straight out the back door. However, they were good housing. I was born there. My mother had um how can I put this? They had three children, Patricia, Ursula, and Martin, and I'm sure they were convinced they were finished with children. Because my mother had a lot of trouble. She had endometriosis, she had terrible inflammation, pain, a lot of pain. And you know, about 4 years after Morton was born, they were going to go in and take care of all that. So she had gone to the hospital, and the doctors had checked her out. She was all scheduled to go in and have complete hysterectomy, everything taken out, hopefully cure that terrible, painful disease. That's where the lining of the uterus, is outside of the womb, and so when it bleeds, there's nowhere for the blood to go. But whatever, it's a very painful disease, I'm told. Something else I'm grateful for. I don't have that. And so she was scheduled for that. Now, she couldn't do too much because of the pain. So Patricia and Ursula were the ones helping her with Martin. But then when she went to the doctor, she did. And the doctor was all scheduled. It was the last visit. She told me this. And then the doctor said, Mrs. Chenevert, do you know you're pregnant? Big surprise. No, she didn't know she was pregnant. And I'm sure the last thing that they thought they needed was a fourth child to support on what my daddy could make. And oh dear, this was a shock. A lot of shocks in life. Uh, this is like our daughter Sarah. We, we weren't expecting her. But anyway, so I was a shock. I was not expected. But the doctor, she said, was a good Catholic doctor and said, well, of course, I can't do the operation because it would kill the unborn child. Um, and of course, my mother agreed with him. So basically, she had to go to bed, she said, and lay there all day to kind of keep the pain from being too badly until I could be born, which was approximately between 7 or 8 weeks later. Long time. During this time, my sisters took care of the family. They weren't that old, but they were doing a good job. She had me, ta-da, and I apparently was a healthy child. My mother told me afterwards that she only had one ovary. There was no other ovary. And that when she was a girl, or when she was a young, I guess, married woman, the common knowledge was that one ovary produced girls and the other ovary produced boys. But she said, obviously, that was wrong because she had two girls and two boys. So my mother had me. Now let's go back to New Orleans. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about here. Um, this is St. Charles Avenue down here. St. Charles is the big street, lots of mansions on this street, and it goes down to the quarter. It's a high area. That's why they built the mansions here. And of course, the river. But over here was where on Camberone Street. Now I can't zoom in too well, but on Camberone Street was where I was born and lived for a few, I think at least 3 years. Um, and I was taken care of by my sisters. Let's see if we can have some more photos here. We can't. That's me. That's me. Oh, I don't know how these got in here. This is my oldest sister. This is Patricia, the oldest. And was standing up is Happy Ursula. And then Martin, my older brother. He's 4 years older than me. And then this little blonde-haired, curly-haired boy. I think I have another picture somewhere too. No, I don't. Is me. This was, of course, I was at least a year old, maybe 18 months old. And that's my mama. Here's a better picture. Um, that's my mother, of course, with her four children. And she was getting much, much better by this time, obviously. My sisters told me that when I was a little baby, I was a big baby, they had a crib, and they would have to, one of them, I guess, Patricia, would stand there and try to get me over the railing, and Ursula would be there waiting, and they would get me down to take care of me, to I guess to change my diaper and feed me. Obviously, I ate very well, no problems with that. So I'll cover that. That's my best friend, Roland Dupuy, and me, and my girlfriend. That's Marguerite. Okay, that's my brother Martin. He's by the way, I should mention today is April the 4th, 2024. I'm 83 years old, and I'm doing this in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I live now. Okay, enough of that. Um, so my mother I was a surprise. I was born on 1616. Oh wait, that's me. There I am right there. Look at that. Even smiling back then. Camberone Street, right there. And that's it. There's a lot more I can tell you. If you look close, you can see that this street was a brick, herringbone brick. I wish I could say I remembered that, but I don't. But I lived there, and I remember walking down the side of the house, but I don't remember much else. Of course, I was very young. That's it. That's where I was born. That's all I'm going to tell you. Let me see if there's anything else. Patricia and Ursula. Um, no, that's it. That's it. Thank you all a lot. I'm gonna stop sharing. Appreciate this. I sure hope this comes out. And it's titled "Where Was I Born?" Yeah, okay.